Alright, give me 1 second just to make sure everything's going well here. Alright, sorry if I'm coming on late a little bit. This is Tosada Fujinami here, providing you with the other side and then again. Again, if you know how my name goes and how the acronym comes along, that's why I'm Tosada. Now, originally, usually you know me as talking about video game stuff. I've been talking about the Nintendo 2, talked a little about the Xbox price hikes and all that before in my previous podcast. However, I was going to talk about the Nintendo 2 game key cards because that story is just ridiculous and I've been thinking about I need to do something talk about that a little bit. But what I'm going to talk about instead is something that I heard last night, and when I heard about it, it just made me think, you know what? This doofus, this orange doofus in the White House is off his rocker. He's lost his marbles. He's basically causing his own problems to solve so that he doesn't solve the real problems. Now, what am I talking about? So last night, the doofus decided to introduce a new tariff, as if he doesn't know anything else. He's a broken record. He thinks that one solution solves everything. No, it doesn't, idiot. You doofus. That's why you're a doofus. What did he do? He introduced a 100% tariff on imported foreign goods and imported foreign films. Now, why is that very important? Why in the world, when I heard that immediately, it triggered light bulbs in my head that this is a topic I need to talk about because it's more important than talking about Nintendo game key cards, which seems like a lot of people in the video game industry are caring about right now, which I care about too, but it's not as big as this thing. Now, when this was announced last night, the details of it weren't even completely clarified. No one has any idea exactly what this means, because there are questions of, what does it mean to be an imported foreign film? Does it mean it's the production or the filming was done in a foreign country, so when it comes back to America to do the editing and all that, it still counts as foreign because it's filmed out there? Does it count as foreign that if it's produced out there and let's say it's dubbed in English? Let's say we have the dub in English somewhere, it needs to come here to be dubbed. Does it mean that to transfer it from the foreign country to America, it gets tariffed? So whatever it was going to cost, that cost is taken immediately off first before getting dubbed here? Does it mean that productions, let's say there's agreed upon agreements to have them come here to the U.S. Let's say it's a foreign film having a premiere out here in the U.S. because the film needs to get that audience and traction. Is there a tariff to get shipped out here because the fact is it gets shown here? Is there a tariff on that? What does it mean? No one knows because, quite frankly, everyone's trying to figure out. The doofus doesn't even know how to define it. He was declaring that he needed to do this tariff because, in his words, the foreign film industry is a national security threat. Let me ask you something. What do you think of first? Hollywood or Korean dramas? Or whatever Korean dramas are filmed. Hollywood. I don't think anyone thinks that. What do you think of Hollywood or Bollywood? As much as Bollywood is getting bigger and everything, it's still nowhere near Hollywood. So it's still Hollywood. What are people thinking about? Hollywood or filming out, or whether the studios are in Italy, England, or whatnot, in Europe? It's still Hollywood. So what's the problem here? What's the threat? There is none. What? Here's the thing. Do you know why people... Because the world has so much to offer. Let's think about this from a global perspective. The Swiss Alps, the Great Wall of China, the Taj Mahal, the pyramids of Egypt, the African safari, the safari, the Sahara, the Amazon, or in South America. Let's go to maybe even England with all those landscapes, the England skyscraper. Japan and Kyoto, Osaka, those landscapes. Hong Kong, Dubai, and also Singapore with their skylines. let's talk about even the Middle East. Let's say the Indian streets, the streets of India. Let me just say something here. There is so much great landscapes to film stuff. Maybe people want their films in different countries that America can't emulate that. Maybe, again, it could be cost cutting, sure, saving costs on where to film, but at the same time, there are these places around the world where you can film that have these beautiful, beautiful scenery and everything you can see, but you don't have that in the US. So you're going to do green screen everything? You're going to just put everything behind a backdrop? And I'll tell you why it doesn't work. Because it happens to be with The Last of Us last night. And I'll tell you why in a second. Because when you watch these... For instance, Game of Thrones. That had some American people involved with it. But it was all filmed outside this country. Now why? Because according to the writers, according to the directors and everything, the scenery matched it. You can't find close enough to that in the US. They even tried. So you're going to penalize... Now we're going to have to force the people who filmed Game of Thrones to come back here to film here and be not natural. They'll have to use green screen and backdrops that are fake. So I ask you, why is foreign filmmaking a national security threat? Let's think about this for a second. What is he targeting really? What is he really targeting? In Asia, it's going to be the anime films, obviously. In Hong Kong, some of these Chinese movies that are coming out that have worldwide reach because their stories, again, they're different stories. You also have people with different ideas coming out. That the US, it's not that they can't come out, it's that because if it doesn't make Hollywood, it means you can't get exposed as much. So you try to go to an independent film festival, but a lot of those independent film festivals are foreign based because Hollywood doesn't take them, so they go into the independent film festivals. So what is this doofus trying to do? He's trying to say that he wants everything back in the US, but by doing that, it breaks a lot of different other types of media industries out there. Hollywood's going to be fine. Obviously, Hollywood's going to be fine. They want to put everything back in Hollywood, but not everyone can film in Hollywood. Not everyone's ideas fit what Hollywood can do. That's why you go out in the world to see what's happening. What if you have an indie filmmaker who wants to go out to, let's say, wants to do the Sahara deserts or the Amazons or the Himalayas or even the rivers of or even the Italian landscapes where you can go on gondolas, the Italian waterways. Can you find that in the U.S.? No, sure, you can find something similar, but will it feel natural? Will it feel authentic? No, and not all of us can afford backdrops and green screens and all these AI technology. We can't. And I'll tell you this. Here's why you can't use backdrops for all this fake stuff. And you can't have. There's a reason why the foreign film industry is not just, because production's cheap, we go elsewhere to make our films. It's because sometimes there's actually environments and not only that, the culture. You can sometimes get these natural acting from people who live there, as opposed to fine actor here trying to act like a poor Filipino boy or a poor Indian girl. You can find them out there because they are in their environment. They're going to act naturally. You don't have to pay them to act that way. And this is not just, again, it's not just cost cutting. It's also thinking of the creative mind, how it works. It's not just about money. It's also about the authenticity. Now, here's the deal. Last of Us, last night, the first scene of the last episode. I'm not going to try to spoil something, but I'm going to tell you to watch episode 4 of season 2 last night. Within the first 5 minutes, I had to rewind 10 to 20 seconds to see this. There is a scene where you have one group of people who are military, another group of people who are resurrectionists. The resurrectionists are walking to meet up with the military people. One of the scenes, when they did a camera shot, the people were frozen. They weren't moving. That told me that was a green screen. That wasn't even a real shot. That was a green screen. They were doing a backdrop. That looks so fake. And you're telling me, again, This is just The Last of Us. It's a high-produced film. And now you want to tell people who are trying to make this more authentic not to make that... Again, don't think I didn't notice that. If I noticed it, that means other people noticed that exact scene, that exact shot I'm talking about right in the beginning of the episode. It sounds so fake. I was like, I was gonna roll my eyes because I thought there was a high value production, but now I realized even they had to cut corners. Now imagine, because you're putting a tariff, 100% tariff on import of foreign films, now you have to make a lot of that stuff fake, and because you want to film in our country where everything's more authentic, now it has to be fake because of the backdrop. It has to be AI. It has to be green screened. It's not gonna be as real. It's not gonna feel. It's gonna feel like. You remember those movies we watched in the if you ever watched the 1980s, 1970s movies, a lot of that was green screen backdropped because the budgets were less. The studios, it was everything in Hollywood. It was still closed mind, just like this Doofus. He's very closed minded. Everything's so it's so back into those ancient days where it just feels like stilted backdrops, and you knew it was a green screen. You knew it was a backdrop. You knew it was fake. Why does it look so good now? Why does production value look so high and so expensive now? It's because they're using real scenery. It costs money to go to these places. You know what the concern here is? Is that the money is not going to him, the Doofus. That's why these tariffs. He sees an opportunity to make money. This is all about money to this Doofus. So that's why. When I heard about this tariff, I was like, oh god, this is just a pump and dump again. This guy's using this only thing to make money. Don't think he doesn't have offshore accounts that aren't recorded. Don't think he doesn't have money hidden around. How do you think he can pay for Mar-a-Lago? You think if he's really bankrupt 6 times, by the way, he should have money for Mar-a-Lago, even with all the success he's had in television and everything? He should be paying up the wazoo on his bankrupt contracts and everything like that. But he doesn't. So that means he has money hidden somewhere. That's so obvious. Just think about people. Again, think about how in the world, what's he trying to do? He's trying to make money. So that's why he put this tariff now. Now, why is this a big deal? I made a tweet last night. When I heard this immediately, it told me, okay, this is just the beginning. Because right now it affects imported foreign films. If you read the news, Netflix's stock slumped. Time Warner stock slumped. They're starting to think about what movie projects, what film productions they have to cancel, they have to delay, because now they have to figure out how to move it back in the U.S. And not only that, you don't just change the production. You may even have to change the story. You may have to change the characters that you focus on, because some people were thinking, oh, if I'm filming in Vietnam, I want this traditional, true Vietnamese kid who, again, we're not trying to exploit them, but they can act naturally in that environment, and it doesn't seem fake. It's not just about the money. If you want, you could just say, pay these people more money, and that's fine. But again, this is not about paying out money. This is about paying money to the Doofus. So, again, so now all this stuff is affected. That's why their stock went all the way down. Now, this doesn't impact foreign films, and the fact is, not only does it affect Hollywood, that's why Hollywood was in a scramble today. They're really getting feeling right now. What does that mean for you as a consumer when you watch the movie? You've noticed that prices of goods has been going up. Prices of video games. I've been talking about the Switch, Xbox, and video games. Those prices have already been going up, and they're gonna still go up. Groceries. I just went to Costco. I saw this this TikTok video about Costco and their toilet paper. I buy Charmin, for instance. That used to be only about $25, I think. It went to $30 already. That's the tariffs. That's the effect of the tariffs, because it's a fact these other countries are producing our toilet paper. It gets shipped here. So now, what's happening is, the prices of films that come here, they're going to get affected. Now, if it's a pure American film, we're probably okay, because that's what the Doofus doesn't care about right now. But let's say like, for instance, Lord of the Rings. It was produced elsewhere, comes back here. That's tariffed, but no, right now it's not. But it could be. Maybe Avengers, some of these superhero movies they film elsewhere in different countries. Now, when Marvel has to bring them back and Disney has to bring them back, those may have to get tariffed. Studio Ghibli. This is what I mentioned about my first tweet about Studio Ghibli. All those tariffed because they're completely produced in Japan by Japanese animators. When they get brought here, they have to get dubbed. But before they get dubbed, they're considered foreign films, so they're gonna get tariffed as well. Any of you guys Dragon Ball Z fans? Dragon Ball Super fans? Guess what? The next Dragon Ball movie that comes out? Tariff. Demon Slayer. Tariff. So, now, before it was the tariff on China, 145%. It affects the video game production. So that's why Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo have tariffs. Now, he's into the film production business doing the tariffs now. So that means all the movies that you were waiting for doesn't have to be American companies producing in our countries, let's say around Europe or Asia or Africa. Now, your Japanese anime movies are going to get tariffed too, because they are completely produced in Japan. None of them are produced here. None. Demon Slayer, no. Dragon Ball Super or Dragon Ball Z, no. Jujutsu Kaisen made as well, no. That's produced in Japan as well. Studio Ghibli, all of that's in Japan. So now those are going to get tariffs. How? And again, what do tariffs do? Let's understand this. The price, sure, the companies are going to pay upfront to the government, to the doofus. He's going to pocket the money. But the companies want their profits. So they're going to charge the price of Blu-rays, of tickets, of the licensing, of the streaming services. Those prices go up. That's why Netflix stock went down. That's why Disney, Time Warner, their stocks went down. Because they know prices are going to have to go up for a consumer. And when the prices go up, the subscriptions go down. And that's what's going to happen soon. That's the impact it's going to have on Netflix, on Hulu, Disney, on Paramount, on Peacock, on... There's another one, I can't remember, Amazon Prime now, next. All the cost is going to go to the consumer eventually. Now, it's not just foreign films now. This is just movies. Hollywood is not just movies. You guys know that, right? Hollywood is also TV shows. Hollywood's also animation. So, again, I'm not even thinking about Europe right now. Europe is going to be impacted too bigly. But the reason I'm talking about Asia is because I'm also a fan of anime. I'm also a fan of K-pop, J-pop. I'm also a fan at times of Korean dramas. Now, you don't think at some point those are going to be impacted? This is a precursor, folks. This is a precursor of what the doofus is going to do. He's going to consider the entire... If it's not Hollywood, everything's a national security threat. Doesn't have to be films. It could be TV shows. It could be music. It could be everything that's coming that usually would come from Hollywood that doesn't come from that's produced elsewhere. It's going to get tariffed here. And when that happens, everyone, your enjoyment of things that aren't American, regardless from Europe, Asia, Africa, South America, that's going to get tariffed too. And the reason why I'm saying all this is because has your government representative, especially the Republican, said anything to quell this, to shoot this thought down, to let this doofus know that this should not happen? No, right? This doofus is doing stuff however he wants, right? Because of that, what's to stop him from charging tariffs on everything else? Anime, manga, light novels, K-pop, J-pop, Korean dramas, Japanese video games. This ties all the way back to video games, my specialty, right? Because, let's think about this. Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, Dragon Quest, the Dragon Ball fighting games. Let's talk about the other fighting games. Tekken, Soul Calibur, Virtua Fighter, Forza games, the driving. Let's talk about some of these. Resident Evil, Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, Super Mario, Legend of Zelda. What's the common theme amongst all these properties I just named? They're all produced and manufactured in Japan, out of this country. Guess what? If the Doofus continues his reign, his tariff imposition onto other forms of entertainment outside this country, you don't think it's going to impact everything, all the video game properties I just named? None of them are Call of Duty. Sure, it's great. None of them are Madden. Sure, that's great too. But do we all play Madden? No. Do we all play Call of Duty? No. And did I even start mentioning the gacha games? Wuthering Waves, Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero, Genshin Impact. You have all these other ones coming out, like Neverness to Everness, or Azure Premilia, or Ananta, or any of those ones coming out. Guess what? Those are also foreign games too. All the gacha games that are big are foreign, people. And guess what? That means if they're going to charge tariffs for everything you buy from there, that means that means the games that were free originally, they're going to charge money for everything, or boost up the costs, or make the drop rates of those, the pity drops become more expensive. Because that's what the Doofus wants to do. He wants to make money for himself. If this was about protecting American interests, there's a better way to do this. There's always better ways to do things than just a tariff, because a tariff is going to be a tax that gets charged onto the people. Amazon, I'm hoping they keep this. They were going to put in a line item on your bill, on your receipt, saying tariff cost. They should, because that is the Doofus, that is the money going straight to the Doofus's pocket. Did it have to be done? No. Why is he doing this? Because he wants the money. Is this going to solve anything? No. If he was doing this to save money and give money back to people, why did he do a rally in Michigan for tens of millions of dollars? Oh, I think it's tens, maybe more than that, hundreds of millions of dollars for a 100-day rally? Why is he going golfing every weekend? This money's not going to help you. This money that he's doing from tariffs is going to him, because he can do whatever he wants with it. It gets collected, and then he could just hide it away, pretend it's like, oh, I don't know where it is. But then it's all going to be paying for his Mar-a-Lago. It's going to be paying he's going to keep it for himself. People, if this was anybody else, if this was George W. Bush, Mike Pence, Mitt Romney, even frickin' Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley, this wouldn't be happening like this. They'd be doing something different. They wouldn't just be doing a thing that's antiquated, an idea that's antiquated that makes no sense. Every idea that this Doofus has had is from the 1920s, 1930s, at most 1970s. None of this is progressive. Forget progressive. None of this is even conservative. But let me ask you something. You bring back everything to America. What is that going to do? That does nothing. That does nothing for you. And here's the thing. I mentioned how if you move all the production back to the US, it's going to be too expensive to produce anyway. It won't make a difference. Here's the other thing that you all have to keep in mind here. I mentioned that it's going to be very expensive to produce back in the US if you move everything back. So what's going to happen? I mentioned about AI a little bit already. Remember I mentioned about The Last of Us Part 2, The Last of Us Season 2, Episode 4 that just came out. Within the first 5 minutes, there is a scene there that completely was backdropped, green screened in. That was fake and that was not real. Imagine that, but happening more often and through AI now. Now, sure, are you going to get screens that may be real? It could be. Maybe it could be. It could be better than what we saw in The Last of Us, that episode. That was so bad when I saw it. I had to do a double take to watch that scene again just to make sure My eyes were cleared there, but now we have AI produced. Now you're gonna be having AI produce these backdrops, these environments, these scenery, because we can't pay to do filming in the U.S. because it's not only expensive here, but maybe you don't have the right scenery and you don't want to pay the 100% tariff to film in another country, so you have to do AI. Here's the problem now. Why have there been strikes with writers and actors and voice actors the last 2 or 3 years now? AI, right? We're already having problems that AI could take over actors and vocal voices and all that in writing, right? If the studios have within their rights, within their ability to use AI for the set pieces too, and they see the cost savings, what's not to prevent them from breaking those just break the contracts, pay them, and just still produce a movie with all AI at that point? For real, we're not talking about like CG here. We're not talking about like the CG, like some of the, if you've seen the anime to be Hero X, we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about real AI. We're talking about AI that emulates real people, real scenery right now. Like the real Swiss Alps, or the real Rocky Mountains, or the real Great Lakes, or the real Egyptian pyramids now, with people that look real, not CG produced. Now, that could introduce a whole slew of problems for the entertainment industry, for people who want to make a living. Now it's all just AI. Why don't you just go the AI route and not go out of the country? You may think I'm being conspiracy theorist. You may think I'm going extreme here. All this has already started. That's the reason I'm saying this. I'm not saying this because it's a complete out of this world idea or out of this world concept. It could happen because if you've seen some of the CG based animation out there, some of it, sometimes to me, I have to do a double take to figure out if it's real or not. Because some of it could be so real at times. And now you have people, you're introducing this possibility because, quite frankly, a lot of filmmakers can't go outside can't film in the country here because the cost is too expensive. And not only that, not just the cost, but maybe there's no ability to because of either not the right environment, not the right people, not the right culture. You don't have it. You go to these other cultures sometimes because you want to film a scene there. This world is so big now. We want to be able to do this. So how, and again, here's my one question I'll end with. I'll also say about this. How is a tariff on imported foreign films and calling the foreign film industry a national security threat going to make your cost of living for groceries, the cost of groceries, go down? Is there any relation? That's why I start this whole video saying this doofus is causing problems that do not help you. They do have nothing to do with what you're seeing. All he's doing is causing problems so you don't realize that he's not solving the problems that actually impact everyone. He's only causing problems so that you don't realize that he's not solving anything that you need solving. All you people. That's why I say. That's why I keep saying. Always ask. Always understand the full context. Never take things at face value. Ask who, what, where, why, when, and who, what, where, when, why, and how of everything you hear. That's why when I heard this, I had to talk about this idea more, because this to me is going to be it could be a snowball effect. And quite frankly, I think it is going to snowball further down. Netflix already felt it. Time Warner already felt it. Disney's already feeling it. This ain't just going to impact foreign films, people. Everything that Hollywood does, music, TV, it's going to impact that too. All you people, and again, going back to the anime side, all you people who subscribe to Crunchyroll, Hulu, Crunchyroll, Hulu, High Dive, Netflix, Amazon Prime for all your anime. It could be that there's a tariff on TV shows. Anime is a TV show. K-pop, Korean dramas are a TV show. Guess what? That could impact the subscription price for that. let's say if there's 100% tariff on your anime, Crunchyroll, what is it? I'm paying $8 a month for Crunchyroll. Most likely, they're going to want to put the cost on me. So what are they going to do? Could they raise it 16? Maybe. But what's more realistic? 18. And if they want to make sure the future-proof, $20 a month for Crunchyroll. So I was originally paying 8, going to 20 just because of a tariff that the Doofus does. Do you understand why I have angst against the Doofus and not against these companies and all that? Because the companies don't want to do this. The Doofus is forcing their hand. So if you guys are complaining, why, what can we do and all that? This is whose fault is it? There's only one man. That's whose fault this is. There's only one man who's going to make video games. You think $80 for a Switch game now is expensive? If this guy decides to go into putting tariffs on other types of entertainment mediums, including video games, your Grand Theft Auto 6 that you were thinking is $80, you don't think Rockstar and Take-Two may be thinking, there may be tariffs coming along. Sure, we need to make this game better, but can we produce just a little bit more and make that game $100? You don't think they're thinking about that? And whose fault is that? The Doofus. He introduced this opportunity. People. I'm not telling you to be I'm not even saying the Democrats are right here. I'm not, and again, like I said, I actually respect Mitt Romney. I actually respect Mike Pence so much right now because of what he's trying to say, he's doing. He helped us during January 6th a little bit by not letting the Doofus run away with being a president again when Biden won. There's some Republicans I respect, to be honest, because there's some good people on the Republican side of things. However, this Doofus is the only person that's getting any word out of them. And that's a problem, because this Doofus clearly is not conservative. If you look at what he's doing, these are not conservative ideals because he's breaking so many laws. The Republicans are supposed to be upholding, they're supposed to be the ones that uphold the rule of law, because they're supposed to look at they're supposed to preserve the amendments of the rules of the Constitution much more so than the Democrats. And I wish they did that more, because quite frankly, they should. Quite frankly, I believe that, again, if you're American, you should follow the Constitution because you live here. If you don't like it, get out. And that's what this Doofus is. He's basically committing treason without, well, he was saying it publicly. He is committing treason, basically. Again, I don't like the Doofus. I'm not anti-Republican. And I'm not pro-Democrat. I just don't like this Doofus that needs to get out. Because he's causing pain to... Again, I'm not suffering so much because I have a job and I have a job that pays me well enough. I have things that I could do in my life that I really hone in on and really be happy about, and that's fine. But I'm telling this because not everyone is in that position. And I hope you people realize that all this stuff that's going to happen, your prices going up, your cost of living going down, it's not because of the Republicans. It's not because of the Democrats. It's not because of the independents or third party. It's because of one man who, for some reason, some people think of as the Messiah. When he's broken all the 10 commandments throughout his adult life, every one of them. And I mentioned a video before when I was a VTuber, how he broke all 10 commandments in one lifetime and still broke them within the last year. Again, I didn't want to get too much into the Doofus, but he made the tariff on this import foreign films, and I couldn't be more insulted and raw revolted in my life. I'm hoping that somehow someone hears this and does some action with it, because quite frankly, I'm a nobody. I'm still trying to get my legs under me in this podcasting realm. Nobody hears me as much, but I'm hoping that there's someone out there that understands that, hey, this is a bigger deal. This could snowball into something that's going to impact. Again, it may not impact you in the cost in your groceries, but all of you want entertainment, right? And when your entertainment costs go up, blame one man. Just one man. It's that orange Doofus in the White House. Well, sorry for being a little bit morbid tonight, but again, I just had to say this. Like I said, this could cause so many bad things that could happen for people who want to make a living as a film producer. But not that, it's going to impact people who want to enjoy foreign made culture products. Again, anime, manga, K-pop, J-pop, Korean dramas, Japanese video games, Chinese movies, European telenovelas from Mexico, from telenovelas from Spain. All this is international. Bollywood. All of this is can be impacted. I just want you people to think. One thing is not, you cannot treat one thing in isolation. You always have to view things in context. Don't take things at face value and ask the who, what, where, why, when, and how of things. Again, thank you for listening to me. I don't know what I'm going to do for this Friday, but I had to get this one out because I was so revolted when I heard this story that I had the gears just spun in my head of what I could say about this. And I hope there's someone that understands where I'm coming from. Again, this is Tosawa Fujinami, and I'm always providing the other side, and then again, and hopefully, and we'll see what the topic is on Friday, but I'll be back in on Friday evening in a hotel because I'll be in a video game convention this upcoming week. But again, thank you all for listening, and I hope you all have a good night, and I'll see you all later then. Give me a follow if you can, subscribe if you can, and thanks a lot.